Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, heard Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on PSA.com and the PSA Facebook page. The Great American Collectibles Show is brought to you by PSA and the National Sports Collectors Convention. Tonight's headlines are brought to you by Sports Collectors Daily. For all of your hobby news, features, and more, visit sportscollectorsdaily.com. And now, your hosts, Tom Zappala and John Molori.
JM, my man, how are you, brother?
What's up, buddy?
Did you have a good week?
I did have a good week. How about you? Did you have a good holiday weekend?
I did. We smoked ribs.
Okay.
At the Zappala household. It was an event.
Did you smoke cigars also?
Oh yeah, had
Fantastic.
Smoked 2 cigars, but the ribs came out great. Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zapp, my good compatriot Johnny Molori. Petroselli's off today. He's in
who knows where he is.
Some golf tournament.
He's signing something for money.
Some golf tournament.
Yeah.
That's all he does now is sign for money. That's all he does. We have a great guest in studio with us because he's close by, our good friend Bobby Livingston from RR Auctions. Man, I haven't seen you in a while.
I know.
Not since I walked out on Giovanni. You knew I was going to throw that in, right?
Well, I tried to find you at the National. It was so gigantic this year. You could not find anybody. It was out of control.
We were right on stage.
I mean, can I just say Bobby is like sartorially picking up the level of the show.
Oh, absolutely.
You and I look like we're waiting for Chuck's Tavern to open in the valley.
Bobby always dresses well. and by the way, we're going to bring in John Broggi from the National in a minute.
Yeah.
But don't forget, we would love you to subscribe, like, and share the show.
Please like us.
We're on Facebook. YouTube.
Everywhere.
We're all over the place.
Spotify, right?
Spotify, yeah. Any of the platforms that you watch or listen to, we're on.
Podbean.
And by the way, comment, or if you want to email us, you can go to zappsenior@hotmail.com, ZAPSR@hotmail.com. I promise one of us will answer you, unless it's a complaint. Unless you think the show sucks, you're out.
We can take constructive criticism.
No, we can.
We disagree with it, but we can take it.
All right, our headlines, and then we're going to bring in Mr. Broggi. I love this headline, Rich Miller. Got patience? PSA
ENCE or ENTS?
ENCS.
All right.
PSA opens up $22 bulk service level for club members.
Oh, yeah.
For the first time in 18 months, PSA is again offering its bulk service. Company announced Thursday that it would be offering a $22 rate to collect club members who submit 25 cards or more with a declared value of $199 each. Cards must be submitted via two options, 1996 and newer or 1995 or older. Turnaround times are still out there, 120 to 150 calendar days.
Okay.
But that's better than a year and a half or 2 years, right? And obviously, collector club memberships are $99 per year. With demand for the company's authentication and grading services at an all-time high, it's of the utmost importance that a more affordable service level option is brought back into the fold, stated PSA's Director of Product Marketing, Tommy Paderis. This is a concerted effort to help collectors not only update personal collections by getting their favorite cards encapsulated inside our PSA holders, but also assist set registry members complete their own set building pursuits. The $22 rate is now the lowest level PSA offers, at least on the right track again.
Hey, 4 or 5 months.
Exactly.
Like you said.
Better than a year and a half.
2 years.
So for more information, you can go to our good friend Rich Miller and the great folks at sportscollectorsdaily.com. All right, before we get to Bobby Boy, let's bring in our dear friend,
Bobby Boy,
the executive director of the National Sports Collectors Convention, John Broggi, who has been gloating, I repeat, gloating for 10 days now.
It's hurtful.
Because his Rutgers, what is the Rutgers Spartans?
I know. It's just they've just started.
Scarlet Knights.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, they just started playing 11-man, and I can't believe they beat my BC Eagles. I can't believe it.
John.
I can't believe it.
John, he's a graduate of BC, as is my oldest child.
Yeah. I will say that the university is absolutely gorgeous. My first trip up to
it's a beautiful,
beautiful campus,
and the area around the stadium and everything was beautiful. We enjoyed our trip up there, especially the result of the game.
Yeah. You know something? I'll tell you what's good about BC. BC is literally 5 miles outside of the city of Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You're going right down
Great
Comm
spot.
Ave.
Yeah.
But it's almost like it's in the suburbs. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was great.
John, speaking of football, I'm assuming you saw the big Doug Flutie statue outside the stadium. Did you catch that? So Doug, in large part, paid for everything on the lower campus, because when I was there, Flutie was 2 years ahead of me.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still a great school, great campus, but I mean, after he left and all the money he brought in from football, I went back, about a year later, boom, buildings, new stadium a few years.
Absolutely.
I tell you, big part of it.
Absolutely.
Football was a big part of that lower campus.
The one thing that hit me the most as we walked around there, if I go to a Rutgers game, there are all kinds of different jersey numbers, reflecting past heroes of the university. And I do the same thing in other schools.
Sure.
I think everybody had on a number 22 jersey.
Oh, yeah.
He's still the way it works.
He's the man.
It was crazy. I mean, is there nobody else? What about Matty Football?
There's a ton of them. But you know something? Poor Matt Ryan has never gotten. He's always
he was
been
a great quarterback. Yeah.
He's a way better professional, probably the greatest BC quarterback of all time.
In the NFL.
Professional.
In the NFL,
right?
Yeah, sure.
He's always been in the shadow of Doug Flutie.
Everyone will be. I mean, and you know why? It's because Flutie has stayed local. He's still on the campus all the time. He's still in the area.
Yeah, he is.
He didn't, he had to leave to go play pro football, but his legacy is just huge, and it's as big as ever.
I never saw Doug Flutie play football, but I saw him play drums and rock and roll.
He's a hell of a drummer. He actually is a pretty good drummer.
One of the most amazing athletic feats. Now, Flutie was 5'9", and I think he was shorter than 5'9", actually. I saw him at Roberts Center, the old basketball stadium, arena, dunk several times.
Oh, I can't believe that. He was a good basketball
kid was
player.
Still is a tremendous athlete.
All right, John, let's get to the National.
Let's do that.
People are very excited that the National is going to be back in Chicago. Very, very, very happy. Now, you guys just announced the next couple of venues. Why don't you walk us through that?
Well, we had already previously scheduled the 23 National for Chicago, and we're going to be there. Actually, I'm going out to Chicago next week because we've changed a little bit of the layout of the floor plan. So we want to just make sure that when we get there that people aren't standing around not knowing what to do. So we'll figure that out and get it to people. But the 24 National was awarded to Cleveland, and the 25 National will be back in Chicago because we have every other year deal where we go back to Chicago.
Oh.
It works for everybody. So Cleveland had been scheduled to run the 2022 National, but when the pandemic struck, the building closed.
Right,
so
right.
we moved it to Atlantic City, which had lost the 2020 National. So we're sort of happy that we're able to move around, and every time we post anything on our Facebook page, we get 437 people saying, "Why don't you hold it in my backyard?" I have a room big enough. Everything works there. I can put everybody up in my basement. But the fact of the matter is, there are very few locations anymore that can hold an event as large as the National.
So that means Boston's out, huh?
I think so. I actually drove by the Boston Convention Center when I was up at BC a couple of weeks ago, and I just think the fact that it's so far east that the people from the West Coast would have even more of a reason to complain and not to come to Boston.
Well, that's a good point.
John, have you gone to Cleveland before? Or will this be the first time?
We've been to Cleveland. I think this will be our 7th trip to Cleveland.
Cleveland's a great city. I never went to Cleveland for the National.
I don't know what book we
National was great there.
I was there. I don't remember. Not several years ago.
Cleveland's a great town.
Was Rico with us? I don't remember. But
I believe he was. We were there in 2018 was the last time we were there. And as I said, we were scheduled for 22. Cleveland's beautiful because it's a former tank factory. So it's got literally a quarter mile across and then another quarter mile deep, which we have for exhibit space. The parking there, I know there were some questions and comments about the parking in Atlantic City. They have a parking lot right behind the building, which will put about 8,000 or 9,000 cars, which is certainly more than we want. The location, again, is great because it's right next to the airport in Cleveland.
Yeah, it was a great location. I remember that. Hey, John, were you happy with the results of the National this past year?
How could I be
It was
anything
unbelievable.
Great. Yeah.
How could I be anything but happy? I mean, when every morning you've got to let people in 5 to 10, 15 minutes early because you just have no more room to put anybody. The attendance was just phenomenal. It surpassed last year's attendance in Chicago, which we called the second best national in history behind 1991, which I still don't believe they had 90,000 people in 91. I just can't believe if we had so much difficulty processing, 60 to 70,000 people, how do you get 90,000 people in a building?
Yeah, right.
Unbelievable.
Right.
We had a blast. We had a really
awesome.
good time. We had a great time.
It was great.
Yeah. They bent over backwards to help, to really accommodate us with the new book, and Kenny Kendrick sending the entire collection, except for the Wagner card, over to the venue was great.
It's what people maybe don't realize, people who just go to the National, like you just said, you're going out to Chicago to check. Like, this isn't something you prepare 2 months before.
Oh, God.
Like,
No,
you're working now on next year's and maybe even thinking about the following years right now, right, John?
Absolutely. As you said, we've got to make sure that when we get into Chicago in July of next year, everything's ready. We know how to handle anything that might change the situation. We've got to be able to do that. So it's a year-round thing. Tom, I got to give you one real quick one.
Yeah.
The hobby has been receiving so much publicity lately. It's funny, this Mickey Mantle card that you guys saw in Chicago, in Atlantic City. I had people walk up to me who know I'm involved in the industry and say, "Hey, did you hear about this Mickey Mantle card that went for $12.5 million?"
Remember, I told you, John, last week I was at I'm involved with an organization here in Massachusetts, and we run this big Italian festival. If I told you how many people walked up to me and said, "Did you hear about the Mickey Mantle card?"
Yeah.
And then me being the cool guy, took up my
picture.
We all have them.
I took out my picture of me with my arm around Derek holding the card. It was like pretty cool. Pretty cool.
It's given us so much
Just
great publicity.
amazing.
It's crazy.
All right, John. So for more information, can they go to the website?
The website's up already. It's got some information about Chicago, and as time goes on, obviously we'll add some more. Tickets will go on sale on our website at the end of November, Cyber Monday in November after Thanksgiving. And just keep following our website for details.
And make your reservations early for the hotels. I can't stress that enough.
That's correct. Hotels in Chicago are a little bit better than Atlantic City because there are probably 30 or 40 hotels within a 1 mile radius of the convention center. Right. So
yeah, I mean, you had to sleep in your car.
I chose to sleep in my car because that's what the expenses of ATS Communications could afford.
All right, John, we love you, and good luck to Rutgers the rest of the way.
Thank you. We're going out to Temple on Saturday.
There you go. Take care.
Bye now.
Good guy. John Broggi, the executive director of the National Sports. Were you there this year?
I was there.
Yeah. Why didn't you text me?
I texted you. You don't respond. You blocked me. I don't know. I'm writing you. I'm calling you. Look at our history. You know it's there.
I was busy.
You were shining me.
I was
just
busy.
Blowing me off.
Listen, we were broadcasting.
You ghosted him.
We were broadcasting from the stage. Why didn't you walk up to the stage? We would have gotten you on the stage.
I'm walking around. It's so, the industry is so healthy. It's so huge. There's so many of our clients there. They it's tough, and you got to walk that floor, and finding everybody was tough. So I never got over there. And the PSA booth, the size of PSA now is just
it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
I know, it really is.
And the lines to get things encapsulated. It's so impressive what PSA is doing. I'm
not just PSA, but
the whole industry, right?
Right. I mean, it's almost become the thing that was real noticeable to us this year. It's almost like a mini version of Comic-Con. Entertainment, music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All kinds of spectacular events going on in pockets.
You know what really amazed me? Because there's a lot of stuff going on there in that one space.
Yeah.
And not only just us, because we did the live show, for a couple hours on the Burka stage. But every demo they had on that stage, there were 50, 60 people sitting down. Because usually when there's stuff going on like that, people are going to the booths, but people were like generally in our show even how many people do we come up and ask questions or make comments on?
It was great.
People were really into it, Bobby.
Yeah,
it was great.
Now you guys did not have a booth though, right?
No, we didn't have a booth. I think have one next year. And everybody's like, you should be there. You should be there.
Bob, you really should.
Yeah.
And the thing for our auctions, let's be honest. I mean, sports memorabilia, you guys are good at, but you guys offer so much more than just sports memorabilia. You offer everything imaginable.
Well, we started with autographs. So we've been in business since 1976. So we're specialists in autographs and manuscripts. And Bob Eaton, our founder and current owner, he was on the PSA board, of authenticators when they first started, right? So we're known for autographs. And but we've grown into space, NASA, rock and roll memorabilia. We sold Johnny Ramone's guitar for $1 million last year. We sold the rocket seat, on Blue Origin for $28 million last year. So we're offering
$28 million.
It's crazy.
We offer things that we don't necessarily think that the baseball card people want or the sports people want. But I was there this year and okay, we're coming. Because like you said, there's so many other genres, so many other things that are happening there. So, we're gearing up to do it. And that's, I know we're going to talk about our auction in a little bit, but we're making it. This auction, this is the inaugural auction we're doing. That's all PSA encapsulated. Everything in it is PSA.
Tell us. I was going to say, and Bobby, you know this, and so do you, Zap. I have a lot of friends who collect sports memorabilia, whatever they collect, sports. But there's crossover. They're also into history. They're also into music. They're also into pop culture. So I mean, there's a lot of crossover with collectors.
There's no doubt. No doubt. I mean, do you see that?
Well, yeah. There are baseball card collectors, right, that spend a lot of money. All right, and some of them want a George Washington document, right? But a lot of them don't. You know what they want? They want someone to go to a George Washington document, cut the signature out, put it on a card, right? And encapsulate it. Which it's like, and so when you walk around the National and you see this, and we get raw autographs, right? And these companies, they're all our clients, and we can't control what they want to do with what they buy from us. That's okay. What are we going to do? But to see a Babe Ruth check, a gorgeous Babe Ruth check where someone has taken it, cut it, tried to fit it onto a baseball card. It's not a great thing. So what we decided to do? We said, all right, fine. We're going to take the raw material ourselves. We're going to send it to PSA. We're going to get it encapsulated. It's going to be one of one, and
smart move.
So if you want something that's defaced, cut, but it comes from a card company, go ahead. But we're going to go ahead and give you a historic product. So that's why we have 700 history encapsulated autographs that we haven't cut, we haven't modified. They're either the whole letter or they came as cuts. But we are able to authenticate them raw. We're getting them encapsulated, and that's what we're doing.
Bobby, question about that, about the authentication. I mean, you guys are the pros. So you don't need a Kevin Keating to authenticate an autograph for you guys because you guys do it, right?
No. Here's the thing. We do it. We know autographs as much as anybody. We have to show it to someone like Kevin Keating to make sure we're right.
Okay.
Because we never want to put something out there that's going to, if it's controversial, if it's atypical, if it's not quite what they're used to seeing, well, we've got to guarantee it, and we've got to represent the buyer.
Good point.
We're responsible not just to the consignor, but to the buyer, right? And so we want to show everything to a third-party authentication, even though we think we know what we're doing. But it's just that check, and that's why we get the highest prices in the business.
You guys get some amazing prices.
Because we do our due diligence, and we know how important it is. When we've been selling since the 80s and 90s, back in the Wild West days, right, where there was no third party. Right. And it happens. Something in the 80s or 90s that got past us that people didn't know. We're still giving refunds. So it's one of those things that we don't say.
Makes sense.
It's really unbelievable the things that you guys have, and I don't know if we can take a break, whatever. When we come back, but when we say autographs, like we're not just talking about like the Partridge Family. It's but we're talking about Beethoven, George Washington, Ben Franklin, Albert Einstein.
I used to call him Benny.
That's pretty damn cool. Where the hell do you get that stuff?
We've been in business for 40 years, so document people know us. We're the only company that does a monthly auction every month on autographs. So we're like the marketplace. So if you want to buy and sell autographs, you want to get something this month, you get it from our auction. And then people, like any consignment auction house, we get the highest prices. People send it to us. We get the highest prices because we make sure things are authentic, and we guarantee take care of our clients. When our clients are ready to sell, they know we get the high prices, and we get it back. So it's a limited supply, right? It's not like you can call up Topps when I want, 400 cards. I got one George Washington. That's all I got.
All right, listen, Bobby Livingston is in the house. Hey, when we come back, I was watching Fox Nation the other night, and there was, I swear, Bobby, I was, I had a cocktail in my hand, but there was a guy that looked really familiar. Looked a little like you. Well, let's talk about that.
All right.
Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
Let's go! Batter up!
Hi, everyone. This is Rico Petrocelli. JustCollect.com, a leader in the vintage sports card industry, is giving free appraisals on your vintage cards. They'll evaluate your collection for free and let you know the value of it at no cost and no obligation. If you're ready to sell, JustCollect.com will offer you industry-leading prices to buy your card collection. To begin your free baseball card appraisal, visit JustCollect.com or call them at 732-828-2261. That's JustCollect.com for your free vintage card appraisals and top buy prices for your cards. Check out JustCollect.com today.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back. I'm an idiot.
Well, you are.
Well,
and
no,
I think that's well established.
That really should have been the headline. Right?
I have to admit, I'm an
Although
idiot.
it's not news, it's not new. I mean, I could have told you that.
Ellen says I'm the epitome sometimes of idiocy.
You're the quintessential dumbass.
Okay, Bobby, you agree with that?
Well, I think I could go a little further, but I'm going to hold back. I'm going to hold back on you, Tommy.
All right. So I went online to look at their auction, and they have a
Our auction.
spectacular auction.
Yeah.
Except I said to him, Bobby, I said, a little light on the sports stuff. I mean, you got a Roots signed ball that's great, by the way. Beautiful signature. I think the bidding is already at $21,000 or something for that.
That's right.
Then you had some golf and basketball artifacts, and he says to me just now, you moron, you're looking at our weekly auction.
Well, it's not a weekly. We have a regular monthly manuscript auction that's curated, that's historical. But we made a special one, and why I'm here, Mr. Intelligence, is we did the first ever fully encapsulated PSA auction of 700 historic items. So you're looking through there, and you're not seeing sports because we curated it for historical. But in there, if you look, we've got an incredible Jackie Robinson 8x10 PSA slabbed. I mean, a Grover Cleveland Alexander signed card.
That got by me.
I mean, there's
Jesse Owens. Jesse Owens,
great
right?
Jesse Owens. I mean, encapsulated autograph. Because you're supposed to be a client and a fan, and you don't even know we're holding two auctions every month. I've been on this show a dozen times.
I mean, I was going to say, tell me about the Kennesaw Mountain Landis signed picture.
You should do a little due diligence before you get somebody a guest on. A little bit.
Over my Cheerios this morning, I was looking at the site and I just happened to miss what we're talking about.
Right. The major part of the auction. So there's lots of great sports items in there, and they're encapsulated, graded, and check them out. They're fantastic. But then there's also Wilbur Wright. Right.
Man,
there's also Geronimo. Where you're going to get an encapsulated Geronimo photo graded by PSA. We've got last year we sold.
Was that just before he jumped?
Okay, you know what? That's not funny.
People yell that when they jump.
Oh, Jesus.
That's not funny.
What did he yell when he jumped?
Now, that's a damn good question. Go ahead, Bobby. That is a good question.
Just asking.
All right, so
Decorum.
No, seriously, Geronimo, Ben Franklin,
right.
Lincoln,
right? It's Paul Revere, right? So it had a beautiful encapsulated Paul Revere.
But seriously, where do you get this stuff?
Because we've been in business for 40 years.
So people know us. These are people that are coming. Okay,
right.
So, Bobby, are these signatures from all different consigners, or did the bulk of them come from one?
All different consigners.
Wow.
So we've been curating this sale, Tom. That's why I'm a little cheesed at you. Like, we've spent a lot of time because we get because we're an autograph auction. We're getting the raw things in, right? So what these some of our clients were doing are buying our product, cutting them themselves.
Right.
And so we said, you know what? No, we're not going to do it. We're going to take it. We're going to put it in a holder. Now, if you want to buy it and do what you want with it, fine. But we're going to go ahead because the end user, right? Do they want something that's beautifully encapsulated by PSA, or do they want it stuck onto some terrible clip art? It says one of one. Maybe you could ask your audience, do they prefer that?
Well, actually,
do they prefer that?
That's a very good question. You can go to ZAPSenior, ZAPSR at hotmail.com. Email us, because that is a damn good question.
You could even comment while they're watching the show right now.
Got another question for you regarding the encapsulation. So if you have a document,
right,
small document, 8.5 by 11,
right,
and it's signed at the bottom by JFK,
right,
John F. Kennedy, okay?
Right.
Why wouldn't PSA encapsulate the whole document?
Well, they do.
They do sometimes. Okay.
So if they have the right size holder, they'll do it.
Okay.
And if it, a lot of times we have big documents that can't fit in holders, and you get it framed yourself. But they have holders that fit most of the documents that we get. And then, there's just a lot of clips, or there's a lot of 3x5 cards, or there's, small enough 5x7 photos signed or 8x10 photos signed that we get encapsulated.
Well, go ahead.
I just had a question. Maybe it's more to the people with the sources where you get this stuff, but, I looked at some of these items on your site, and they're in remarkably good condition.
Right.
So how does a signature? I have signatures that I did 3 years ago. You look at now, they're fading. They look bad. How does it last? I mean, you're talking 200-year-old signatures here.
Well, people take care of them.
Right, they don't put them on their walls in front of their windows. I mean, people do that, but we don't take those.
He's angry today. He's very see what you've done.
I'm passionate about our industry, and
so people take care of them. That's the answer.
That's what they're coming from. Autograph collectors or original sources. So you're in file cabinets or well curated.
So I keep mine in the safe.
So
Seriously.
you're right. Things fade.
I'm not kidding.
I know you should.
There's nothing more heartbreaking than walking into a collector's house and seeing all the things you sold to them 20 years ago, and they put it on the wall and they faded.
Bobby, I do have a question about that. I told you what I just bought this week. I won it on the Memory Lane auction. I'm very thrilled about it. I won one of a few first edition signed copies of Pitching in the Pinch by Christy Mathewson.
Wow.
1912.
Yep.
Now, that's going to go in a safe. If I wanted to display an autograph, Bobby, on a wall, not facing the sun, does museum glass make a difference?
Yeah. Anything that blocks the ultraviolet light, the museum glass is designed to preserve the contrast of the signature. So you'll be okay. But a lot of times, quality and boldness makes all the difference. So we don't. If something's doesn't look good, we don't take it. Okay, we're pretty conservative in what we'll take.
See, that's a good point you're making, because a lot of companies don't do that. A lot of companies will take a signature, and depending on how bold it is, it'll be $25,000. If it's not that bold, it'll be $10,000. If it's crappy, it's going to be $2,000. You know what I mean? That's what a lot of companies do.
Right. You're right. I mean, if it's ultra rare, like Queen Elizabeth I, right? Okay, that's on parchment. We'll take it, right? But most of the time, we curate our sales. We're not a garage sale. We don't take everything. Everything's got to take an opening bid of $200.
Yeah.
Or we won't even.
Speaking of what he just said, obviously, this past week we lost the Queen. Queen Elizabeth passed away.
That is a doornail.
You have a lot of royalty items on your site. He has a Christmas card from then Prince Charles and Lady Diana.
I knew that.
Pretty neat. You didn't even know he had Jackie Robinson on his site. But a lot of royalty stuff going way back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because people collect royalty, and one of the wonderful things about the British monarchy is they sat for photos. All the way back to Queen Victoria, you can get a signed photo, and then there's Edward and George and beautiful pictures of Princess Diana, and also Queen Elizabeth sat for photos, and she was a monarch for 7 decades. So there's great official portraits that are just beautiful to display.
Bobby, what is the rarest signature you guys have ever handled?
Well, we had a Button Gwinnett. So Button Gwinnett is one of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence. And because he was never a lawyer or a politician like John Hancock or Ben Franklin, he didn't sign a lot of material. And he died during the war in a duel. He was born in England. He was one of the few signers that actually was not born in America. He was from Georgia. And by 1800, the British burned Savannah, and they burned it again. And so any archives or things are gone. So there's only, I think, about 60 known examples of his signature, and it's on the most famous document in American history. And people didn't really appreciate the Declaration of Independence until about 1826.
Right.
And then they're like, and they started to collect these things and get these documents. So there's just so few of him that he's highly desirable. So that's the rarest. And I think our colleagues at Heritage just sold one for several $1 million.
Did they really?
Yeah, I mean, Heritage is on a roll.
I know that. Please. What about William Shakespeare? Is that how rare is that?
I think there's 5 or 6 known examples. We've never seen one. No, and I don't think there's any in private hands. And if one showed up, you'd be very suspect of it.
We talked about crossover collectors earlier, and a lot of my friends who collect sports stuff also are into comic books, animation. You have some great animation items on it. Mel Blanc and Charles Schultz. Right.
And we also
I'm in tune with this part of the discussion now.
But we have.
Thanks for joining the show, Tom. It's
twice a year. Twice a year, something you don't know.
Go.
You don't. You have an excuse. But we have animation specific sales. So you get all the animation sales from Mickey Mouse, Fantasia. All the Disney movies, Popeye. We got the original.
That's cool stuff.
Original art.
That is very cool stuff.
And that stuff is
even
getting
the Simpsons,
more
even later stuff like
Yeah.
the Simpsons.
We got Simpsons. We actually have the saxophone that the guy who Lisa Simpson, all her saxophone. I've got the actual saxophone that the guy was playing for all her solos in this current sale. It's really
Bobby,
cool.
you've been over the years. You guys have been
neat.
really strong in musical instruments. Obviously, the Ramon guitar is an example. Talk about some of those items because there's some great items that have gone through your auction.
Right. We were really fortunate that one of Prince, right after he passed away, one of his first assistants consigned some things to us, and it just blew up. And we got all kinds of crazy prices because people are so emotionally connected to Prince. So we've become a very popular auction house for ex-employees of Paisley Park or Prince to consign original Prince material. So we've been getting incredible money.
I feel like his legend is growing.
Yeah.
Like as you get sadly further and further away from his death.
That's typical, though.
There's a lot of video. I mean, there's a video of him at one of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame where he came out. I think they were doing My Guitar Gently Weeps. They're bringing all the musicians together. He did a solo on that. Not a lot of people knew about his guitar prowess. I mean, he was playing like Hendrix out there, man.
Well,
he was
you're
just
a guitarist.
Gifted musician.
You're a pretty accomplished guitarist. I mean, he's up there with the best, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
But he's one of those 5-tool players, so it wasn't always
That
about
wasn't
the
what's
guitar.
right.
Right.
And he was a lefty,
right.
wasn't he? He was a lefty also, I think.
I can't picture it in my head, but he was a great songwriter, great guitar player, great dancer, great fashion. So he brings it all.
Right. When you're a pop star like that, and his persona and his look was so much a part of it, you forget the musicianship part of it.
But when he wanted to lay into it, he could lay into it.
He was great.
With the best of them.
But hey, before we take a break, Bobby, what about religious notables? I mean, over the years, you guys have had some cool stuff. Anything,
we've had the Pope's hat, the Pope's shoes.
That's pretty big. The Pope's hat.
The Pope's hat is big. No, I mean that's kind of
some of the astronauts when they went to the moon, they would bring religious artifacts with them in their personal preference kits. So we've offered those. We even had Al Capone's prayer card that he used in prison because one of the priests that visited him
had a hole right in the middle of it.
Did you know Al Capone had a band when he was in prison? They were called the Rock Islanders or something, and Machine Gun Kelly was the drummer.
That's awesome.
We've had all kinds
Mother
of cool
Teresa.
Yeah,
any value there?
Yeah, sure, of course. You could write to her and she would send you autographed pictures back. But
why didn't I do that?
I did.
Actually, you did.
Actually,
not.
I bid on one.
You were making a confession.
Clean Sweep Auctions had one I bid. I lost.
You lost it.
I bid $200.
Cheap.
Now listen, Bobby's in the house.
This is really interesting.
How come you don't come more often?
Yeah,
Why are you? I mean,
really?
You're not. I mean, are you that busy?
I then get an invite.
You're literally 45 minutes from here.
You don't ask. What am I supposed to do? Well, by the way,
he's like one of those guys. Like, come by the house anytime.
Right.
But there's no official invite. You know what I mean? Yeah, anytime. Come on by anytime.
All right, listen. We're going to take a quick break. Bobby Livingston is in the house. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
with record-breaking sales from everything from the white border T206 Honus Wagner for $3.12 million to some great items that support the Jackie Robinson Foundation. Golden Auctions has set the highest standards for the finest in sports cards, autographs, and game-used memorabilia. We're always accepting consignments of high-end premium sports treasures or entire collections. Please register for our next auction and bid now at goldenauctions.com. That's golden with an I. We at Golden Auctions are committed to providing unsurpassed customer service for the discriminating collector. That's exactly why we're the leader in the industry. Visit goldenauctions.com or call 856-767-8550. Remember, Golden Auctions. We don't just break records, we shatter them.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
They are prized possessions, and you need a place to store them that is safe and secure. The eBay Vault is exactly that. An insured, climate-controlled facility with state-of-the-art security that guards your valuable collection around the clock. Your Vault account is protected by two-step verification and easily accessible through eBay Collection. And everything stored in the eBay Vault is backed by Authenticity Guarantee. Buying and selling is a seamless experience. When you buy an eligible card on eBay, it can be sent directly to the eBay vault at checkout. Or, if it's already in the eBay vault, you can just keep it there. And selling from the eBay vault is just as easy. Every card in the vault has been expertly inspected, detailed, and photographed, so you can quickly sell it with a pre-populated listing. And if your buyer chooses to withdraw their card from the eBay vault, we handle packing, shipping, and insurance. And same goes for you. If you want that rare rookie card in your hands, you can have it shipped to you at any time. Collect like a pro with the eBay Vault.
And Zap, we remind you that the eBay Vault is climate-controlled, insured, and protected with 24-hour security, just like you. Mm-hmm. Soon, you'll be able to send cards already in your collection directly to the eBay Vault. They will take high-quality photos because it's funny, of the front and back of the card and document all the details for your viewing pleasure and to make the listing-to-sell process seamless. For more information, go to ebay.com. That's eBay, connecting buyers and sellers.
I'd like to put you in a vault.
Globally.
Like permanently.
Permanent vault.
Like ones like at the...
You can also send your co-host to the eBay vault. I think. Right.
Listen, Primetime Events is proud to present the New England Card Show weekend. I'll tell you what, this is going to be the show of the year. This 2-day show is on Saturday and Sunday, October 1st and 2nd at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Mass. The New England Card Show takes place from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, and there's going to be over 300 tables featuring signings by Red Sox legend Jim Lomborg and our own Rico Petrocelli.
Nice.
For autographs, auction houses accepting consignments, and much more, but that's not all. On Saturday night, starting at 6 p.m., join them for primetime Saturday night at the iconic Basketball Hall of Fame for 2 great free admission events. First, Hobby Talk in the Basketball Hall of Fame Theater, featuring the best blogger in the industry with Tyler from Santiago Cards and Ryan from Breakout Cards, and more with audience Q&As hosted by Rob Gerard, the sports card therapist. Then doors open at 7 p.m. for trade night.
That's what you need, the sports card therapist.
Trade night on the Hall of Fame Center Court, kid-friendly food, bar service, and great featured vendors like Card Vault, DCI, all sorts of sports store and elite breaks on site with giveaways for the kids. Admission is free.
Fantastic.
That's the New England Card Show, the ultimate sports card show experience. For more information, call 860-819-4343 or go to necardshow.com for details. A little chatter. Oh, I'm sorry. That's reading it wrong.
Puerto Rico there.
It's going to be a good one.
That's going to become a signature show.
It's going to be the big show in New England.
It is.
It's going to be, and John I still pronounce his name wrong. Damaris,
I think.
Works his ass off, boy.
Like with Roger Maris.
Him and his staff. Hey, listen, Fox Nation, tell us about it. I was shocked when I saw you on TV.
This dude's like all over the major networks.
I mean, what do you after this
he's literally slumming right now.
He's going from here, you're going to where?
Bloomberg Radio to do a segment. Right now we have a beautiful Elon Musk archive that's up for auction on Wednesday night. We were in People Magazine, CNN, we're just everywhere. So I got to go do a segment. We do a lot of television. We've been on Pawn Stars.
I know that. I've seen you a zillion times.
So Fox Nation, part of the Fox Network, approached us about doing our own television show. So we did it. They followed us around, and they've done 6 episodes.
And what's the premise of the show, Bobby?
It's it's following me around to go get an artifact, get it authenticated, go to the for instance, we had the only firearm recovered at the St. Valentine's Day massacre, right? So
That's cool.
So it's totally cool.
That's cool.
Because they were massacred by guys dressed as policemen, right? And they never solved the crime. But there was one gun left on the floor, and it was a .38 Detective Special, and it belonged to one of the guys that was murdered. But the show kind of tracks the history of Capone gang
that's a cool
and the
show.
gun, and is the gun authentic? And so it's that we did an Apple I, and here's the other cool thing. They broadcast our auction live on Fox Nation.
That's neat.
So they did, the 6 shows didn't have an ending at first. So you watch the show.
Oh, and then it builds.
It builds, and then they had John Roberts come up there and send up a big Fox truck, and they did a live switch event through New York, and you could see. they watch the auction. So,
are there going to be more episodes coming out?
They're going to do 14 more episodes. And
can you pull some strings?
Get us on.
Come on, man, pull some
strings. You got to consign something, pal. So let's come
consign
on.
Rico.
I actually have a little bone to pick with Bobby.
Go ahead.
Because I was on the site, and you have a section called the intellectuals, and you have Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung items, and I don't see anything from Zap or me. And if we're nothing else, we're intellectuals.
As I told you, everything has to have a $200 minimum bid, or we don't take it.
Wow. Tough room.
So, like you said, the insurance.
Good luck at Bloomberg.
Can you imagine the insurance policy at the vault for Zap stuff? And what is that going to cost? No wonder they're covering insurance and postage just to get it out of there.
You know something? My body is going to be worth money after I croak.
It is.
I'm just telling you guys this. They're going to want to. I'm telling you. I'm going to be cremated, and they're going to sell. Maybe you could do this. They're going to sell little bits of me in these nice little ornate cases for big money.
Your body will be used to show people what not to do over the course of a lifetime.
Killing me. Both of you are killing me. Bobby, so you're all over the place.
Right.
You're all over the place.
Right.
So I've got to ask you a little personal question. You're a guitarist. You were playing in a band for a while. You still doing that?
No, I haven't been playing in the last 5 or 6 years. I put out a CD. We had our big CD release, and kind of got sucked into this career at our auction where I'm spending a lot of time.
It's only your family, by the way.
I'm totally on the road finding, treasures. We just sold the very first Apple I prototype last month for about $650,000. We sold a letter from Einstein with E equals MC squared for $1 million. And like I said, we worked for Blue Origin and Jeff Bezos. So, it's hard to book gigs, promote, and, have this other life where I have to go to New York, California consistently. So I'll be back out there, though. Are you going
to be down in Florida at all this winter?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I get around. So, I should be down there.
You can look us up, man.
All right.
I know, Bobby, I know you have repeat customers going to your site and buying items. Do you have repeat sources for items that you go back to?
Absolutely. So because we've been in business for over 40 years, we've got a pool of clients that have stuff that get doubles or it's time to sell.
Right.
And so they don't send us everything at once.
Yep.
And we get it. And of course, some of our colleagues at other auction houses are great auction houses too. So we have to compete for the same consignments. So it's.
But that's a sign of a great business. You do right by your customers. You do right by your sources. People come back.
And we've always talked about this. This friendly competition. Like Heritage is a big competitor of yours, but you guys are you and Derek are friends. You guys know each other pretty well.
Right. And at Golden and at Robert Edwards, we're all colleagues, and if we don't get the consignment, good for them, man, and it's good for all of us.
Right. I've never heard a bad thing from any one of those guys when someone else got a consignment that they didn't get. Good for them.
No, because it's all good for the business. Right. That's the thing.
Right. Hey, tell us about our good friend Joe Drellick and the Philly Show.
We'll do, Zap. East Coast Sports Marketing and Hunt Auctions are pleased to present the Philadelphia Sports Collectors Show, the Philly Show, from Friday, September 23rd to Sunday, September 25th, held at the new location, the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center, Hall B, 100 Station Ave in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Shop over 250 of your favorite hobby dealer booths on over 75,000 square feet of sports collectibles heaven from the 1800s to present day. Major sports auction houses and third-party grading and authentication companies are on hand to assist your collecting needs. The Philly Show is family-friendly, and all kids 12 and under get in free. Autograph guests to include Baseball Hall of Famers Jim Rice, Ricky Henderson, John Smoltz, and 2022 inductee Jim Cott, Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Famer and legend Brian Dawkins, and so many more. For more information, go to phillyshow.com. Remember, since 1975, the Philly Show is where it all started.
Hey, listen, I'm not hawking my book or that John co-wrote, but I'm hawking our book because people have asked.
You should hawk the book.
No, I don't. We've been kind of, we haven't really pressed it real hard because
we haven't really been out there.
Well, no, book sales have been phenomenal.
So yeah.
But if you want a copy of our latest book, the Diamondback Collections, 50 of the greatest cards in sports collecting history. I think these are the 50 greatest cards, belonging to Kenny Kendrick, owner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. You can buy the book on Amazon, or you can go to tomzappalamedia.com.
when I was walking through the feast that your organization sponsors here in the Greater Lawrence area, just north of Boston, got a lot of good response on that book.
Yeah, I've heard some good stuff in Boston. I heard some good stuff. People seem to really enjoy it. The photography is great. It's some great stories about the cards, about the players.
Parts of it are really well written.
You know what we've done in the past? That these books are so wonderfully produced and look gorgeous. We actually buy cases of them to send to our clients as
and
gifts.
then we appreciate that. That's happened.
So get in on this one. I haven't seen this one yet.
Yeah, this is. We're really pleased.
We've talked about a lot of tremendous items. I mean, we're talking once in a lifetime items at our auction right now. Is there? I always like to ask people when they're on the show every now and then. Is there like a wow item for you? Is it like something we haven't talked about? Maybe it's a niche item. Maybe it's a nugget that like you're like, this is a really cool, neat piece, or even pieces.
Well, I think my favorite one, and I always bring it up. It is Einstein and his picture where his tongue, he's sticking out his tongue, and he signed it. Basically, it was in German, but he said, "This gesture is aimed at all humanity." Albert Einstein, and so to have him publicly comment on the image itself, that he understood the power of that image. Yeah. Right, and it's dated during the McCarthy hearings, Right.
That's a cool piece.
I think that's my favorite one.
That's
you briefly mentioned the $28 million seat that you guys auctioned off.
Right.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, maybe a year ago.
It was a year ago.
Yeah, a little more than a year ago.
I mean, that was like all over the news.
Right. I mean, can you imagine you get to spend 3 days with Jeff Bezos and go up into space with him, right? And that was his dream. If you look at his early videos when he's first getting rich, what do you want to do? I want to build a rocket. And he did it. And he did it. And he goes. And this event, Tom, was so unbelievable because I had to vet my colleagues at our auction. And I had to vet all these people that wanted to bid. And when the live auction started, the bidding was already at $5 million. So in order to be on the phone, you had to be willing to go to $6 million. And we had 23 people.
Imagine that.
And you can actually watch it on YouTube. It's an incredibly exciting auction where it goes 5 minutes, and it's one of those. It's one of those things that probably is the obituary item, right?
Molori and I were thinking about maybe you could help us out because people can drive with us in his car into the north end of Boston.
Yeah.
They can bid to ride with us.
Yeah.
Anything?
Just take a ride.
Yeah, I think work up the business proposal. Let's see,
We could even take him up to like Salisbury Beach and get him some Tripoli pizza or something.
Right?
He's like, what time do I have to be at Bloomberg? He's like,
Bobby, all kidding aside, man, you got to come in more often. We have a blast with you. We've had some great, you and I have had some fun times in the past in the studio, the old studio, and on the phone.
You know what I want to know, like, after they buy these items? Because, like, you have, like, I mentioned Einstein, Ben Franklin. You have, like, a social activist section on the site.
Right.
You have Gandhi, Martin Luther King.
Right.
Like, I'll give you a Gandhi for a Rosa Parks. Do people trade these things?
We don't know.
You don't know, right?
Because we're just the middleman. So we represent a seller to the buyer and charge
like
commission.
We used to do a Yaz for a Gene Tennis.
Got it. Need it.
I need Gandhi. I don't have Gandhi in my collection.
Right,
it's unbelievable.
No, it's the great stuff.
You can go to rrauctions.com.
Auction. Singular. After all these years.
rrauction.com. If you're in New England, I tell you, it's worth your while to take a ride up to Amherst, right?
Yeah, that's where our operations center
is. Right up the road.
Yeah.
Amherst, New Hampshire. Nice facility. Yeah. I was there about eight or 9 months ago.
Yep.
Was that before or after Florida? I don't remember.
It was before. It was before because you ran away to Florida right after that. But it was good to see you come up, and you could see, what
I did? I'm not going to get into the particulars, but there was it had nothing to do with RR, but myself and another individual had a little falling out about an item. You know what I did when I walked out of that place?
What did you do when you walked out of that place?
I went to Burger King.
Nice.
I went to Burger King,
right?
And I got myself a Whopper.
Yeah.
I was so pissed off.
Well, at least you didn't go to the saloon because there's a saloon across from
I know there is.
A lot of good bars up in that area.
All right, Bobby, we love you, brother.
As well.
Good to see you, Bobby.
It was great seeing you. Say hi to Bob and the gang up there.
For sure.
And to our viewers and listeners, please You got to check out this auction.
Absolutely.
This is a little of everything. A little of everything. Some great, great sports memorabilia. Every walk of life.
All one of ones too. You know, all one of ones encapsulated by PSA. So
awesome. With that being said, JM, have a great week.
Good to see you, buddy.
Bobby, nice seeing you. Our producers, as always, we love you guys. Don't forget, share, like, whatever you can do. We want you to comment whenever you can. Go to Zap Senior, ZAPSR at hotmail.com for comments. If you want to bitch about something, we'll listen to it.
Yeah.
I'll send it over to JM.
Absolutely.
With that being said, happy collecting.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.